He knows ODM is not dead. He knows very well that he has lost this plot. He wants us to be in the street and continue being in government until we removed him here for gross violation of the Constitution. If an impeachment motion is brought tomorrow again against Rigathi, we will still do it. With this kind of character I'm seeing here, we will even do it. So thank you very much. That is my contribution to this, and that is the position of our party, ODM.
Maybe you'll be asking yourselves why we have chosen to respond to Mr. Gachagua, we pretend deserves or warrants no response. And if you listen to Gachagua'S almost 140 paragraphs, there were paragraphs of bitterness, conspiracy theories, unsubstantiated accusations, and political fiction directed at President William Ruto and this broad-based administration. Ordinarily, such a performance from somebody who has confessed to the country that he was an arts performer when he was in school would not merit a response. But when a former holder of the second highest office in the Republic casually accuses institutions and individuals of murder, assassinations, theft, abduction, and corruption without presenting evidence, the record ought and must be set straight. And that is why we opted to respond to Mr. Gachagua. And if we begin with the irony of all this, Mr. Gachagua is attempting to take stock of the 4 years of the Ruto administration, an administration that he served for a record 2 years of those 4 years. He sat in cabinet, he sat in National Security Council meetings, and he defended this government, its policies and its record, and even defended that unfortunate act in Embakasi when he attempted to assassinate the former Prime Minister, the late Honorable Raila Odinga. You will all recall all the acts of goonism perpetuated by Rigathi and directed by him would always be planned by him when President William Ruto was outside the country. That is what he did that day he attempted to assassinate the former Prime Minister. That is what he did when he directed goons under the command of 2 members of parliament from Embakasi who are working with him today. The same members of parliament who are under investigations for deaths in all Kalau that Rigathi turned around to accuse other people of. Those goons that attacked the Kenyatta farm in Ruiru. Again, I'll remind Gachagua, as I have reminded him severally, I sat with him in Annex building on Harambee Avenue when he was planning for the attack of the Kenyatta farm in Ruiru. And that is why I have consistently challenged Mr. Gachagua to come out. And you have heard Gachagua has never bothered to respond to those issues because he knows they are truths. When I speak about Rigathi, I'm talking about somebody I know, somebody I have worked with, somebody I have sat in meetings with as he planned goonism in this country. Let us remind Gachagua that he was not removed from office because of President William Ruto. He was impeached by the elected representatives of the Kenyan people in the National Assembly, tried by the Senate, and removed from office after the Senate upheld 5 grounds against him, including gross violations of the Constitution and undermining the President and the Cabinet. That is his record. So Rigathi cannot be the person lecturing us today, purporting to be giving a scorecard of what we have done. As we have said, Kenyans will judge this administration at the end of next year, this term, next year in August. And yesterday, we detailed to the Kenyan people the achievements that we have had in agricultural production. Just as I mentioned, the agricultural sector has very well recovered. Construction returned to growth of our economy. Investor confidence has strengthened in our country, and the country has undertaken some of the most consequential structural reforms since independence. That is Ruto at 4. Millions of farmers today have access to subsidized fertilizer, which has lowered their cost of production and helped restore national food production. A packet of maize that was retailing at 260 shillings only 2 years ago or 3 years ago is today retailing at an average of 160, and some brands down to 140 shillings. That is Ruto at 4. Universal health coverage has moved from a promise discussed by successive regimes and administrations into an actual national system being implemented across the country, with primary health care, community health promoters, and a new financing architecture designed to ensure that sickness does not become a sentence to poverty. Today, the same Rigathi who was telling Kenyans SHA does not work has witnessed villagers in Wamunyoro getting help as their bills are sorted under SHA. Mr. Gachagua may ridicule the affordable housing program. The mason earning a living does not ridicule that program. The young electrician getting his first contract does not ridicule that program. The mother moving her family from an informal settlement into a decent home will not ridicule this program, as those in Mukuru who have already moved to their houses and many other housing programs will not ridicule. That is Ruto at 4. Through the Hustler Fund that Mr. Gachagua alleges he cannot see its head or tail, affordable credit has been extended to millions of Kenyans who were previously condemned to predatory lenders, who today cannot get those people to lend to on predatory terms because they have access to Hustler Fund. Through the Nyota program and other programs, young Kenyans are receiving training on entrepreneurship, certification, enterprise support, and pathways into employment. Through labor mobility agreements, as I said earlier, Kenyans are accessing employment opportunities across the world, as Rigathi Gachagua ridicules families like that of Eric Mwangi from Nyeri, who he alleges to have died in Russia while he is still well and alive. But that record is Ruto at 4. We have changed the conversation on infrastructure financing so that every road, railway, dam, and transmission line does not automatically become another burden on the Kenyan taxpayer in terms of asking Kenyans for more tax money to be able to finance these huge capital-intensive infrastructural programs. Through the National Infrastructure Fund and other reforms, Kenya is building a new architecture for mobilizing private and long-term capital for national development. That is Ruto at 4. I have heard Rigathi Gachagua ask about the High Grand Falls Dam, but that's a dam that's stalled in the Kibaki regime. The High Grand Falls that was conceptualized long before Rigathi even set foot in this house as a first-time member of parliament in the first term of the Uhuru Kenyatta regime, and those dams, now we can tell Gachagua, they will be done under the National Infrastructure Fund without burdening Kenyan taxpayers. Since Mr. Gachagua has invited the country to take stock, perhaps we should also ask, what did Gachagua do in the 2 years that he served this country as the deputy president? What transformative national program bears his name?
This is the part where everything changes. No dull logos, no soft background music, just a brand that hits you like a breaking headline. MulaTvStudios is not stepping into the news game quietly, it's kicking the door down. We built this intro to feel like the 40 seconds before the world finds out something huge. That's the whole point. Welcome to the new face of broadcast. Clean lines, bold graphics, and a beat that makes your pulse move faster than the ticker at the bottom of the screen. Every channel out there is wearing the same gray suit. This one shows up armored with color and confidence. The sound, the motion, the punch, every second is built to grab you and not let go. If you're tired of cookie-cutter newsrooms with fake smiles, then you already know why this one stands out. This is MulaTvStudios. The world is changing, and now there's a name for it. Subscribe so you catch the next drop before it breaks.